I would say still a little bit disappointed in our defense for sure. Um, Jackson hasn't looked too terribly great. Henderson seems to be kind of trending in the right direction now since he had a little bit of a slide there, which we all knew he would. Defense is the main thing that I've been disappointed in, but other than that, hopefully our pitching starts trending up. I think we're doing okay. We're not world beaters by any means, but with the injuries and stuff like that, and kind of what we have to work with, I think it's been okay. Hitting definitely trending way up since the last we talked. I mean, everybody seems to be hitting right now besides Adley's at a little bit of a skid, which it looks like he's going to break out of it soon because he's having good at bats and putting some good swings on some stuff. Henderson still, I don't want to go in a slump. A little bit of a dip compared to what we're used to seeing from the beginning of the season. But hitting the ball hard as well. I mean, all things considered, I'm relatively happy with what's going on right now. We're still the first team to 70 wins with 3/5 of our rotation. We don't have our all-star closer. We're doing a damn good job in terms of fighting through some adversity here, even if it's not what all Orioles fans love to see. It doesn't feel like we're playing as well as we should be, and we probably aren't, which again is a good thing. Let's hopefully we can keep up this trend with the hitting, and we'll see what happens with the pitching and the defense. Hopefully the defense starts holding up. It seemed like a couple weeks there where like the sky was falling with the defense, and me included, because it was very frustrating to watch and stupid stuff. But then you go and look at our fielding percentage, and we're like second or third in the league or something like that. And it's like, all right, I mean, we need to reel it back a little bit. It's just been a rough couple weeks. So, Brian, what have you been seeing?
I really feel like this team's a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. And I watched Kevin and Zach react. Those guys are phenomenal, by the way. And please check them out. But it's one day it's we're in the heavens, next day we're in hell. The defense really, really, really concerns me. The back end of the bullpen is absolutely atrocious. It's very tough to watch. I'm not going to beat a dead horse with Craig Kimbrell, but it's very tough to watch this team right now. And I say that coming from a standpoint that we have 70 freaking wins. Yeah. So I don't want to act like we are, in the doldrums and we're, we're the 2009 Orioles that were just the armpit of the league. But for a team that wants to win the World Series, we got to pick it up here a little bit. We really do. And I hate to be the Debbie Downer of the situation, but let's button it up. And the defense is extremely concerning. And there's now calls for Brandon Hyde. It's so weird to think about this. We have the best record in baseball, if not the second best record in baseball. We're calling for our manager's head. And that's very bizarre. And at some points, I don't doubt the calls for it. So,
yeah, I just think you have to remember it's just the reigning AL Coach of the Year, Manager of the Year. I think, as Brooks already said, look, we're looking at a team that's been completely decimated by injuries, especially on the pitching side of the ball. But I do echo what you guys are saying, because you got to control the things that you can control. And infield defense specifically is something that we should be dominating. We should be good at. We have all the talent in the world. So those kind of things, if you see those kind of things slipping, that is a little bit worrisome for me. But yeah, I mean, there's so many things out of your control. Like, look, we got 4 starting pitchers on the IL. We've got a couple relievers on the IL, 2 high leverage relievers for us. And, Heston Kjerstad, who came up and was getting hot, got hit in the head. Now he's back down. He's got a concussion. Westberg breaks his hand. He's been kind of like a glue guy for us the whole time, the whole season. It's I don't know. It's a little bit frustrating. It's a little bit scary. But like Brooks said, the bats are coming around, and the pitching is just going to be kind of hold your breath. Hopefully, Grayson Rodriguez can come back. But I think we're working with Corbin Burns and Dean Kramer are the only starting pitchers that we still have left that are starting in our rotation at the beginning of the season. So,
yeah. Want to give a shout out to Matt Bennett. Matt Bennett, thank you very much for listening while you're down in Charlotte. Matt Bennett, best beer drinker I know. Holy moly. Guy puts in more shifts at Pig and Rooster than I do. You're the man, Matt. Thank you. Matt Bennett, I want to tell a quick story about Matt Bennett real quick. Matt Bennett got a hole-in-one one time down in Florida. And I might fudge this a little bit, but when he got his hole-in-one, his first ever hole-in-one, or only hole-in-one, he went into the clubhouse to do the typical 19th hole, buy everyone a shot. And I think they were having a wedding or some sort of function going on in the clubhouse. And so instead of being able to get a drink, they closed the clubhouse down. So Matt Bennett, being the stud that he is, called Pig and Rooster from Florida and bought everyone in Pig and Rooster.
That's awesome.
That's great. You got to do it. You got to do it, right? It'd been bad luck forever if he didn't buy somebody a drink that day.
But getting back on topic, I want to throw this out to you boys. Brandon Hyde seems like a master of developing talent and being a great players coach. I do not know if he is very good at handling adversity or the chaos that's going on in game, and it concerns me a little bit. I think I saw that in 2 or 3 games ago. I don't remember exactly which game it was, but he's so good at one thing. I don't know if he's really good at the other thing. What do you guys think about that statement?
Are we talking about like all the pinch hitting stuff? I mean, that night when everybody went off the rails about, it's hard to argue with the stats that the Orioles pinch hitting numbers are putting up right now. Was that probably the right decision that night? Probably not. It was. I think we can all agree that nobody loved what happened there. But I mean, overall, as a ball club for the year, I mean, I think we're by far and away the best pinch hitting team in the league, like by almost 100 points in the batting average. And another thing, people get very upset about how many times like we pinch hit and like he plays the numbers and like when they feel like it's too much. But I mean, we're in the lower half of the league. We're like right in the middle to the lower half of the league in pinch hits on the year. So that night was a little bit frustrating, but overall, I can't say that I'm overly upset. There are certain times which I wish you would leave the starter in a little bit longer, or certain relievers in a little bit longer instead of playing the matchups. But again, he's got the numbers. I don't, and he hasn't really given me a reason not to trust him yet. And again, like you said, 70 wins, first to 70 wins here. So, I can't really argue the numbers. So I would not be calling for the reigning AL manager of the year right now.
Especially with the lineup. Go ahead, Brad.
I don't really give a damn to a manager of the year last year. This is this year. All right. So what have you done for me lately kind of deal? And this is the team that needs to win. I mean, this team is built to win. They have the experience now, even though we're still young. They have that playoff moxie that we dealt with last year. And you could see the hurt and pain on Adley Rutschman's face in that dugout when Texas beat us. This is their team ready to rock and roll. So I don't give a damn if he's got a plaque on his wall. It's his manager of the year last year.
But is it though? He's missing 4 out of 5 starting pitchers.
Well, I'll give you that too. Injuries hurt.
He's missing his all-star closer.
Yeah,
he's got the pinch hitting numbers to back him up. They're the best in the league by far.
Hey, look, I'll agree with you. I'll agree with you on all those things, Brooks. But also, I don't like seeing Birch Beer get pulled out of the game, so you can make another like a lefty matchup and then get shelled. Like just go with the hot hand.
I think it's baseball in general too now. I think it's a lot more analytical, like Brooks was saying. I don't necessarily know if it's a Brandon Hyde thing or if it's an organizational thing. Like if it's coming from the top, like, hey, we want you to use the numbers as much as you can. Don't try to use feel as much. But I think over a long season, you're going to have stretches like this. I think it was a couple games in a row where we had rough pitching changes and rough pinch hitting opportunities that didn't work out. But I think if you look at the whole season, I don't think it's been a massive issue across the course of the season. I think this was just kind of like a little contained thing. But I think, yeah, it's tough because our lineup is so lefty heavy when we really wanted to, and 90% of the time you're facing a right-handed starter. So I think when you get those big stretches of lefties in your lineup, especially when you get into the later innings and they throw in a lefty reliever per se, you kind of have to switch it up just so these guys aren't facing 3 or 4 lefties in a row. So I understand both sides of it. I understand the frustration with him because every now and then it seems like he's pulling people early, or but I think we have to look at the season in total as a whole. And as we've said already multiple times, we got the best record in baseball. So we're ravaged by injuries, and we still have the best record in baseball. So I'm happy with Brandon Hyde. I don't think these last couple weeks are an indication of the coach that he is or the coach that he can be.
I would love a camera on Michael Elias at all times.
And what Brian said, like I would disagree with some of his stuff in terms of some of these pitching matchup things as of recently. Who's to say if it worked out the other way? Like if he left him in, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's where I think where he relies too much on the numbers sometimes, where you have to have a little bit of feel. So I agree with Brian there. That's something where I wish he would use a little bit more feel on, like as a baseball guy. But I don't know. It hasn't really bit him too much until recently. And it's also really nice that we just went on a little road trip and we came back, 500 or 6-4 or something like that. Take that all day of the week for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would agree. I would agree with Ryan on that point. For about having a little bit more feel in your bullpen matchup rather than just playing strictly numbers or strictly lefty or righty or whatever you want to call.
This is an all-encompassing baseball thing. I think we get drunk on numbers now. There's so much data and there's so much analytics that sometimes you feel like you need to use them.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not saying Brandon Hyde is completely analytical, but I also like back in the day, and I'm not calling for Buck Showalter to come back, but I love Buck. But Buck would be a feel guy. Brandon Hyde's a numbers guy. I would like to merge the two into one.
Yeah.
And you really have the ultimate manager.
Yeah. I agree because ultimately Buck got. One of the reasons why Buck got fired was he relied too much on feel with when Ubaldo came in and blew that game against Toronto. Just because Ubaldo had a couple decent outings right there, he tried to ride the hot hand instead of just going with what made sense. And I mean, he's admitted to this day that was a bad decision.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, I think overthinking is going to happen over the course of the season. It's going to happen a few times to pretty much any manager. It doesn't matter if it's Dusty Baker, or if it's some guy who just started coaching this year, like Stephen Vogt for the Indians. Sorry, the Guardians now.
Racist.
He's done a very good. I think he's done a very good job. Stephen Vogt, obviously, Cleveland's been excellent, and of course, Dusty Baker's still doing his thing in Houston. They're hot as well, but it's just you have to.
Dusty Baker's not in Houston.
Is he not?
He's retired.
Retired. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
He retired last year. Don't remember that. I just think you need to have some sort of middle ground, like Brian said, and I think, like we echoed earlier, I don't think this is going to be a long-term thing. I think hopefully in the playoffs this doesn't come to bite us in the butt. But I know people are going to have differing opinions on what's happened the last couple of weeks. I've seen it.
One thing I do want to say, and to go back to the stats and feel thing, just the last thing that I have, stats are such a fucking scapegoat for both sides too. You can sit there and play, like if you make the wrong decision and you just sit there and say, I'm playing the stats, here's what the stats say, and you can just blame it on the stats, right? Or vice versa. You can make anything look a little bit better, like kind of how I was talking about with the pinch hitting stuff. Yeah, I mean, the numbers look great, but I mean, it was majority of that stuff at the beginning of the season. It'd be nice to kind of see the splits on that, like in thirds. Like, are we doing really bad the last 25 games on our pinch hitting? So that's the problem with stats sometimes, is that people can make stats work for their argument no matter what it is. It's a little bit of a scapegoat for both sides.
You can cherry pick for sure.
By the way, are you typing in bird noise, Brooks?
No, I think there's just birds. I'm sitting outside.
He's at Augusta National where they pipe in bird sounds. Yeah.
If anybody wants to come visit me in beautiful Indiana, it is perfect. It is perfect weather right now. Like 75 degrees, 0 humidity.
That looked like a fake cloud over your left shoulder.
That's the Truman Show. It's the edge of the Truman Show dome. Yeah. All right. So let's get back into the rundown here. Let's talk about some of the guys that we traded for at the deadline. See how their impacts are. What kind of impact they've had on the team in the last couple of weeks. Eflin. I 2 games. He looked great in his last start.
I have a Zach Eflin banana hammock on right now. Actually, that's how good he's been.
I mean, yeah, who doesn't want to play behind that guy? He doesn't walk anybody. He works fast. Doesn't care about striking people out. I mean,
that dude pitches like he's double parked. I love it. He just gets the ball and goes.
Pitches like Mark Burley. I love it. Mark Burley used to throw hour and 55-minute complete games and get the hell out of there.
Yeah,
yeah, he's been great. And look, we're going to need him to be great, because if Grayson can't come back, then he's going to be the guy starting game 2 on the playoffs. So, is that what we wanted coming into the season? No, you want Grayson or Bradish or one of those guys, but that's not where we're at right now. So we're going to figure it out. And, hopefully Eflin can keep looking this good while it's, while we're getting into the home stretch of the season. Sir Anthony Dominguez out of the bullpen's been really good. 8 appearances, 8 innings pitched, only giving up 1 run so far. His stuff looks great. Brooks has said it to me multiple times over the course of the last week. Brooks was out here for the White Marlin Open, so we got to watch a lot of games together. He thinks he's going to take over that 9th inning role going into the playoffs, and he thinks he's got the stuff to do it. Brooks is our resident pitcher on the podcast. What do you got, Brooks?
I said it since the first outing. I literally tweeted it out, and Sir Anthony Dominguez ... closer, because his stuff is really good right now. And the guy, he has a little bit of closing experience. I mean, he wasn't terribly great, but he was mostly a setup guy. So he's used to high leverage role. He's used to the high leverage role. So, I mean, I could see this. I mean, if Kimbrel doesn't get back on track again, which I think we all expect him to eventually here, fingers crossed. But I mean, that's a guy that I would like to see as a closer. And I think that's the direction that they're going based on some of the situations that they brought him in on. So, yeah, I mean, especially if he gets hot here and runs it through the playoffs, fuck yeah.
This goes back to that field thing. I mean, he's got the hot hand. Ride the hot hand. Sorry, screw the numbers. All right,
It's a kid show.
Yeah, it's family establishment. So make him the closer. All right, go fuck yourself. All right, so make him the closer. Just do it. Just don't look at the numbers. He's got the hot hand. Roll with it. Kimbrel right now is.
Keep putting Kimbrel in those situations. Like give him a couple days a week so he's staying sharp, because he likes to get in there and stay sharp. And his main thing is location and keeping a feel for that. And obviously he doesn't have it right now.
Yeah, and look, I understand. People are going to throw numbers in my face like Kimbrel did this and Kimbrel did that. And he's got an ERA of that. He looks like dog shit out there right now. It's just absolutely terrible. His ball is tailing away. He's missing arm side all the time. I don't give a damn what the numbers say. He's terrible at the moment. I hate to beat the dead horse. Put Sir Anthony Dominguez as our closer.
I agree with you. I think it's time at the moment. It's one of those moments, like we said, let's give him a break, throw him consistently, get him in there in hopefully some easy, some low leverage situations to figure shit out. And then if he gets hot again, we can figure that shit out when that time rises.
So
So
bring right back, but
Yep.
let them get hot again. But right now it's cold, and we don't have time to be cold if we're trying to get the best record in baseball.
especially if Sir Anthony Domingos goes out and has 2 high leverage saves back to back nights or something like that, and you can have Kimbrel for the 3rd night. I mean, that could end up being really nice for us. Cano's starting to actually pitch a little bit better now too. So
If you say high leverage one more time, I'm going to take a shot.
leverage.
Okay.
This would be a great drinking game. I'm going to start saying literally every time too.
How much leverage do you need to take a shot?
Yeah, while we're talking about the bullpen, we do have to talk about Gregory Soto as well, the other reliever we've got from the Phillies. Not great in his first couple of appearances with the Orioles, giving up a ton of runs, walking a ton of guys. Looks like he's struggling with command a lot. Have you watched any of him, Brooks? Have you seen anything particular out of him, or you think he's just kind of trying to figure it out as well?
I think he's trying to figure it out. It's nice that he does have some playoff pitching experience, and hopefully we can keep getting him in there. But yeah, stuff looks great. Just not locating, has no idea where it's going right now.
Yeah.
So
That's kind of been the book on him since he was in Detroit. We made an all-star team with Detroit, made an all-star team with Philly. So, I mean, definitely has had good seasons with both of his last 2 teams, but right now, sort of in the vein that we're talking about with Craig Kimbrel, just not really a guy you can put out there reliably at the end of the game when it's close. If it's 7-1 or 8-1 in the 6th or 7th inning, bring him out there, let him get his work in, try to figure it out. But as of right now, I'm not seeing a guy who's going to be pitching much in the playoffs for us. But that could change.
This isn't the time of year to get a feel.
Yeah,
I hate to say that.
No, it's not.
It's not that time of year to get a feel. You should have a feel by this point. And he should have got the feel. Was he with the Phillies, right?
yes.
Yeah.
He should have got the feel with the freaking Phillies. And the Orioles should have seen that he had a feel with the Phillies when they traded.
Yeah.
The guy has electric stuff, but he can't locate it. He is was David Hernandez or whoever, the real tall guy we had.
Daniel Cabrera.
I mean, hey, I got the name completely wrong, but he had electric stuff, but he might hit a bird. You don't know where it's going.
Yeah, he's definitely a guy that needs to be worked in when we're up by like 6 or 8 runs.
Yeah. Give Bert, like as Brian called him, give Birch Beer those big innings. We love that guy.
I mean, he turned it around in no time, didn't he?
He came out
I
of
know
nowhere. I
Bert-
never
I know
heard of him
Bert's-
until he got pulled up.
And Birchbeard is a phenomenal soda.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's hard to find too. It's one of those things where you see it and you're like, I want that.
Shady Maple Smorgasbord. Call out Shady Maple Smorgasbord. In Lancaster, it's the only place I've ever seen that has white birch beer. It is delicious. Sassafras.
White Birch Beer.
Interesting.
Belly Busters on 45th Street has Birch Beer on their fountain, and it's great. I get it all the time. Eloy Jimenez is Delman Young. Delman Young is Eloy Jimenez. Finkel is Einhorn.
Let's all go to the Tinder with him. Let's all go to the Tinder. Because I think a bunch of the guys went to the Tinder with Delman Young one time, and he paid everything. So let's go with Eloy.
Eloy is 12 for 24 since joining the O's. Just seems like he's getting at least 2 hits every time he plays. It's been really fun to watch. The dude's actually kind of a stud.
Yeah, I mean, all he's doing is slapping fucking ground ball hits to the right side.
Yeah, do the first and second base hole, dude. That's what O'Hearn's been doing for all season. It's great.
He's probably crushing Fells Point too, guaranteed.
I mean, have you seen a guy that had be happier to leave the White Sox? I mean, and go to one of the best teams in baseball. The guy's on cloud 9 right now. Like, he's got to just feel so good.
Yeah, he's awesome. He is probably one of the slowest human beings I've ever seen play professional sport. He was somebody hit a gapper. I think it was Gunnar hit a gapper, and he was sitting on first base, and I had people at the bar like, "Oh, he could score on that," and I was like, "No, he fucking can't."
No chance.
There's
No,
no
but-
way he'd score from first.
And it's funny that he makes fun of himself for how slow he is too.
Yeah.
Like you can see him like look at the dugout and be like, yeah.
The little portly catcher, Kirk from Toronto, is faster
Alejandro.
than him.
Alejandro.
The guy is Alejandro Kirk is rotund. That is a shape, and he is faster than Eloy the Bennett.
Vogelbach or whatever.
Yeah,
Oh,
Daniel
yeah.
Vogelbach.
The human bot.
Yeah, he's the man. Yeah, so trade deadline so far been pretty good. We had a couple starts out of Trevor Rogers. He's 5 innings, 2 earned the last couple times. The first one he kind of got roughed up a little bit numbers wise, but he had a lot of bad defense behind him that game that kind of derailed that start for him. So we'll see what we get out of him. He's going to be the back end of the rotation kind of guy, but another guy that's got talent, and he's a guy that we traded for the future. He's controlled through 2026. So I don't think necessarily like his big impact would be this year. Although if we can get anything out of him, that would be excellent.
So is Eflin.
Yeah. And Eflin's under control next year as well. But Eflin's been great. He's been the best pitcher that got moved at the deadline thus far.
I will say this: Rogers looked significantly better in his second start than he did his first. Obviously, just pitching wise in general, let alone whatever the numbers were. I mean, he just looked like he's trending. He's starting to trend. He trended in the right direction there. So let's hope that and his velo was back up again a little bit here and there. So we'll see.
Yeah. Grayson Rodriguez, Jordan Westberg to the IL. We got to talk about this. Grayson has a mild lat strain, is what they called it. He is shut down. He is not pitching. He is not doing pitching activities. I'm sure he's running and all that stuff, keeping himself healthy. But as far as his arm goes, he's not going to be throwing any baseballs as of now. There's no timetable for his return. Based on similar injuries, it looks like it's usually around 2 months, which would take us into the playoffs. Pretty scary. I don't know if he's going to pitch again in the regular season. Would we bring him back just to pitch in the playoffs if he hasn't gotten any reps? What do we think about this?
It's concerning. It's very concerning. I hope it's not a lingering issue that lasts his entire career.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a major blow. I give him credit for this part of the injury. He didn't go out and try to. He's a bulldog. We've talked about him being a bulldog, how angry he is when he looks out on the mound, or how he is on the mound. I am very happy that he decided to feel right.
Yeah.
And that's good because he could have really screwed himself. So hopefully he can come back, but it's a major blow.
Yeah, it sucks. Hopefully he can be back in September. Elias said that it was September was the target date to come back. So obviously that's with no setbacks during throwing. He had this injury, in spring training or beginning of the year, I believe, when they shut him down.
Yeah, it was the middle of the year. They shut him down for shoulder inflammation. So not exactly the same thing, but the same area of the body.
Yeah. A little different. But yeah, hopefully this isn't something. These can be like a hamstring kind of deal where like you start feeling good again, and you start throwing, and you feel like you're 100%, and then all of a sudden like something tweaks it again. So hopefully there isn't any setbacks or anything like that.
Yeah. Brooks, question for you. Given that you're the resident pitcher on the podcast, is when you take this much time off, however long this time may be, let's hope he comes back. Does it affect you on the mound when you come back?
I think so. In terms of you got to get your feel for your pitches again.
Getting back in the groove, I guess, what I'm getting at. Yeah.
Yeah, starting to feel like obviously he's going to do rehab starts, I would assume, and throw live and everything like that. But just getting a feel for throwing off the decline on a mound is just way different than throwing on flat ground. And then figuring out your location and figuring out a feel for your pitches. So it's definitely, these guys throw a ton in between starts just to stay sharp. So when you miss 2 months, obviously you're gonna accumulate a little bit of rust there.
Yeah. Obviously you'll see it with the special pitchers. They'll come back and it looks like they didn't miss a beat, but for us normal humans. For the most part, I think it would have a big effect. Jordan Westberg also to the IL. I don't have this on the rundown, but we do need to talk about it because we haven't talked about it since we haven't had a podcast since this happened. Just a real glue guy in our lineup, really super reliable at third base all season. Didn't make a lot of errors. I mean, in the last 2 weeks alone, we've seen Urias and Mayo make how many errors and just jumping out of the way of balls. And it's getting ugly over there at third base defensively, like we talked about earlier in the show. Getting Westberg back towards the playoffs is going to be a huge boost for the lineup. What do you guys think about this? I mean, obviously, as a hitter, hurting your hand is not a good thing. Anything
Luckily, it's
in
just
the wrist area sucks.
Luckily, it's just a hairline fracture. I mean, remember when we talked about when Kobe Mayo had a hairline fracture in his ribs when he was down in the minors and he came back so quickly? And like, how the hell did that happen?
Yeah.
So, same thing. Luckily, it's just a hairline fracture. So, it seems like, I mean, he's even said that he expects to be back before the end of the year. So, we'll see. It does suck it sucks for right now, though.
Yeah. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I dig the fact that I guess old Orioles teams, guy got hurt, you wouldn't see him. Guys get hurt now, they're in the dugout, hanging out. They got hats in their army. John Means looks like the bionic man right now, but he's still in the freaking dugout. Yeah. Like that just tells you how tight this team is. What I love about this team. Now we sit here and we bitch and we nitpick at some of the dumb stuff, but I love that, like, Jordan Westbrook's sitting there. He's got a cast on his hand, but he's sitting there. He's dabbing people up with his good hand. Yeah. I love that.
He's staying engaged in the game, which is something that I think is really important, especially when you're that young. I think it's a really difficult thing to do when you're not out there playing every day. So it's a really good to see out of Westberg, and even Batista, like you said, John Means. You see Kyle Radish in the dugout every now and then. Just it's good to see.
I agree with you too, Brian. Like it's not only does it show that they care just about like the game in general, it shows that they care about their teammates too. Little things like that go a long way with your teammates. So I love to see it too.
Yeah. Jackson Holliday. After our pod from Casa de Rogers, I was listening to the Oriole game driving back down to the beach because I had to work that night. And when I was in the middle of the Bay Bridge, Jackson Holliday hit his grand slam that brought everyone's house down. He's having such good at bats since he came back up. Even his outs, he's smoking balls to the left and right fielder on the warning track. He looks so much more locked in. He's taking more pitches. He's having better at bats. He just looks so much more comfortable. First 20-year-old or younger in the history of the American League to homer in 3 straight games. Youngest player to ever do so. This is stuff you just don't see every day, and it's been really fun to watch him. His growth at the plate since he went back down.
Owner.
I think, yeah, I got nothing to add to that, but what was I going to say? Oh yeah, there was somebody put out a stat like his last, I don't know, like 15 batted balls or something like that, 10 batted balls, including his outs, are all over 100 miles an hour. He's barreling everything right now. He's so fucking locked in at the moment. So let's hopefully they don't figure him out here right before the playoff time. But looks like we found somebody who's going to be on the playoff roster, and it's not going to be Kobe Mayo right now till we shortens his swing out and he actually can hit a fucking fastball.
Kobe Mayo should not bring a bat or leather to a ballpark. He should sell hot dogs. He is absolutely atrocious to watch. And I am an advocate of Kobe Mayo. I want him to be successful. But right now, he is a hot dog vendor. He would actually make more money for the team selling hot dogs than being on the field.
Look, it looks rough. He's 22 years old. He's playing in his first couple games in the major leagues. I want to give him a break, but dude, Dude is late on 92-mile-an-hour fastballs in the outside corner. Like, what are you doing, man? Like,
Literally what I was about to say.
you can't do that at the professional level. And I get
It
it.
was-
It's a big adjustment, but it's been rough so far.
It's the last couple of games. He looks like, and I'm not trying to say this to be funny. He looks like a little leaguer. He looks completely lost at the plate.
Yeah, at least when Jackson was up. When Jackson was up earlier, Brian, when we were not, we were pretty positive about his at bats. Like he was starting to hit some balls hard and everything like that. I mean, really, the only ball I've seen him hit hard recently is the one in Toronto to the shortstop.
Yeah.
After Jackson's home run, actually, that nobody really paid attention to because we were all still celebrating Jackson's home run.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is I'm glad you said that, Dustin. I was literally about to say it is troublesome that he is late on anything like 92, 93 on the outside. Anything on the outside corner, he cannot fucking hit. Like it is atrocious. Like, and I don't. Not that he's going to be. I think he's going to end up being a very good player for us, but hitting wise, we'll see about the field. But yeah, at the moment, he just looks like he's kind of lost up there. It looks like almost like there's a hole in his swing on the outside corner.
It's just like all the rest of the Orioles, not all of them, but most of the Orioles rookies, especially the highly rated ones that have come up over the last year. Grayson Rodriguez struggled. He had to go back down. Colton Cowser came out and was terrible in his first couple games last season. Jackson Holliday struggled when he came up. Gunnar struggled when he came up at the beginning of last year. So it's been a continued thing for the Orioles that these guys are going to struggle and then they'll kind of figure it out. There's just too much talent for him not to. But yeah, as we said right now, we don't need to beat up on Mayo anymore. Hopefully he doesn't put Mayo on his hot dogs, like somebody on this podcast, significant other. But yeah, it's been rough. And
Here's better. You can call it out, put Mayo on your hot dogs.
Yeah, especially if it's avocado mayo. I don't want to talk to her. Let's talk about Tony Taters. Since June 1st, in 63 games, Anthony Santander has 26 home runs. He's averaging a home run every 2 games, basically.
Boner.
His free agent numbers are skyrocketing every day. It seems like the $15 million a year has gone up to $20 million a year. Has gone up to $25 million a year. What an absolute tear this guy's been on. He's got 5 more homers than Aaron Judge since June 1st, who's eating baseballs for breakfast this season and for the last 5 seasons, really. But 35 homers on the season is tied for second. I believe he's tied with Ohtani and Ozuna from the Braves, which is a little fun reference if you remember that little incident he had. But yeah, he's been great. Anchor of our lineup, hitting third or fourth every night, switch hitting, playing great defense. Another guy who's slow as shit but makes the plays that he can, and actually has made a lot of really good plays. Made a huge catch in Toronto and against the wall, and then came up and hit a homer, his second homer of the game.
Dude, he's been great all year, defensively. I said at the beginning of the year, he just looks like he's hurt running out there. Like he looks like he's in so much pain when he runs, and he looks like
he's running with hot coals.
Yeah, yeah. It looks like his hamstrings about to snap at any moment whenever he's running. But you sit there and you're like, man, this doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. Then he ends up making a great catch. And he gets takes great angles at these balls and gets to a line of balls that you don't think he will. I've been blown away actually by his defense all year long.
Yeah. And also the only guy in our outfield that can throw a baseball more than 40 feet in the air. So another problem with our defense is our outfield arm strength. I've said it all year and I'm going to continue to say it. It's completely atrocious. It's really bad. We need to figure it out. Yeah, I mean, anything else you guys want to talk about Orioles wise before we move on to some football stuff? Do you have any thoughts? Obviously, we're coming up on a 2-game series with the Nats before we come home, or we're home for 2 games against the Nats. I think Brian's going tonight, and then we got 4 against the Red Sox at home. Corbin Burns bobblehead night on Friday.
Given that we're transitioning and segueing into football, I want to do my That's a Shame.
All right.
Hassan Reddick. You asked for a trade. You got traded to the Jets. And now you want to be traded again. You're a bum. That's it.
Yeah, actually, we're going to talk about Hassan Reddick. Brian, did you know that tonight is a live hot dog race night at the Oriole Park at Camden Yards? And
I'll
who
be
will you be
taking
rooting for?
Mayo. Because I'm going with
going to go out there and run. Yeah.
Because I'm going with my girlfriend who loves mayo on her hot dog. That sadistic son of a gun. So I need to root for mayo. I'm always going relish all day.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about Hassan Reddick now. Look, this guy's got over 50 sacks in the last 4 seasons. He's got 4 straight seasons with a double-digit sacks. He's getting ready to turn 30 next month. He wanted to get traded from the Eagles because they didn't want to extend him. Now the Jets don't want to extend him, so now he wants to get traded from the Jets. The Jets have informed him immediately after he came out and requested this trade. The Jets GM had a statement saying, look, you're not going to get traded if you refuse to report, then per the collective bargaining agreement, you're going to get fined. So the Jets traded a 2026 third rounder for him, and now he doesn't want to play for them because he's not going to get paid.
And he's got $1 million worth of fines already. It's like $1,500,000.
Yeah, he's making $15 million this year. For those wondering, which in terms of high octane, very good pass rushers in the NFL, that's not a lot of money. And so I understand from his perspective, he's getting ready to turn 30. He wants to lock down a contract, but it's kind of a bad look getting traded to a team and then not even playing a game for them and already asking to be out. It's I don't know.
I got nothing else to add.
Yeah. Another big contract trade stuff that's going on. I didn't have this on the rundown, but Brandon Ayuk has been continually discussed. Apparently, there was a deal in place for him to go to Cleveland. Amari Cooper was going to come back with, I think, a second and a 5th rounder. That way, the Niners would still have a big time pass catcher and not be on the hook to pay Ayuk whatever he's going to be looking for, which I'm assuming is going to be somewhere in the range of $30 million a year. But he doesn't want to go to Cleveland, and he was able to nix that trade. I don't know if that's necessarily 100%, but that's what a lot of reports are saying. People are saying he really wants to go to the Steelers. I mean, yeah, I think if he gets traded to the Steelers, that makes him a lot better. But I'm going to say this, just like the Jets GM said, we're not going to trade you. You're going to play for us. I think the 49ers would be crazy if they traded him. You're trying to win a Super Bowl. A guy had 1,300 yards last year. You're just going to take that guy off the team, and then you get stuck with McCaffrey, who's already hurt, Debo, who's always hurt, and Kittle, who's always hurt. If any of those guys go down, you're going to be in trouble.
Well, they drafted 2 guys. They drafted 2 receivers. I know they're rookies, so you got to always be cautious of rookies. But the Ayuk thing, it's the what's the old adage? I want my cake and eat it too, or something like that, or whatever the hell that is. He wants to go to like an absolute crazy good contender, but he doesn't want. He's got this no trade thing. He's holding everyone hostage. Yeah. He looks like a jackass in the grand scheme of things. Just play for the freaking Niners. Play your contract out. Now, look, I understand the risk of injury. I'm not gonna sidestep that. Yeah, but then you get to go to anywhere you want. You can go to the Rams. You can go to name that. You can go to the Packers. Would be a great team to go to down the road. If you would have the Steelers, sweet. See how Mike Tomlin treats you, because he's going to talk to you directly in your face, tell you to go fuck off.
Yeah, I mean,
I never say never, but never. Right? That's like the Mike Tomlin quote I always remember.
I give John Lynch and a lot of credit for they're kind of lockstep with how they feel about things, and they don't really give on this kind of stuff. So,
and they get both those guys got new contract extensions. I think they're locked in for another 5 years in regards to their job security. So they don't really give a damn. Brandon Ayuk, go screw yourself.
Yeah. The weird thing is too that the Brandon Ayuk and John Lynch, I believe, have the same agent. So
that would make sense.
I feel like that's a conflict of interest, but yeah, if he doesn't I think he knows my opinion is he knows he's probably not going to get traded, and he knows that he's going to end up coming back and playing. But I think this is just a last ditch effort to try to get an extension. Yeah. So do I fault him for it? No. I think he's going to play for the Niners this year.
Yeah.
I think everything's going to be fine and hunky dory and everything like that. But
Dusty, I don't want to steal your thunder. I want to talk about Mr. Wiggins for the Ravens.
Yeah, go ahead.
He looked fantastic. Now, I know he got a little banged up near the end of the game. Holy moly! And I read something on, I want to say it was ESPN, or I think Brooks is taking a poop. But it was on ESPN or it was on Pro Football Talk that the Ravens had 8 trade offers for the number 30 pick. And they turned them all down because they liked Wiggins that much. And he looked fantastic in that preseason game. Now, I know it's a preseason game. So I got to temper what I'm saying. But he looked great.
I didn't watch much of the preseason game. I was at work. I don't pay that much attention to the preseason other than, injuries and that kind of stuff. But by all accounts, he did look great. He was flying over the field. I saw the highlights. He made some good tackles in the open field, which I like seeing. We've had problems with that with our secondary for years, as does every team, with tackling in the open field. So, it's good to see him shine in his first preseason game. Obviously got a little banged up. They said it was just a sprain, so he's not expected to miss an extended period of time. There was a scary moment with Kyle Hamilton. I guess at practice this last week, and they said they got good news on that as well. They're not expecting him to miss a significant amount of time either. So that's really good news because he's one of the key parts of our defense that was able to help our defense be historically good last year.
Met him in person at Charleston the other day, Kyle Hamilton. He came to one of the trainers. I want to talk, when you think Wingspan, this guy looks like a hawk. It's unbelievable how big he is. He's broad. He's skinny, but he's broad. That makes no sense. Huge human being.
Yeah. Look like a swimmer.
Basically. Yeah. He's a dog. It's like Michael Phelps. It's like a dolphin.
Yeah. He's a freak, and obviously we're hoping he stays healthy. Good to see, the Ravens secondary has been a little under the radar for the last couple of years. It's good to see them, building the secondary back up. We still have Marlon Humphrey. Hopefully he can get back to his form, and Marcus Williams can stay healthy. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the Ravens D. Would I love to see us go get Hassan Reddick or Matt Judon, who's also been apparently getting a lot of trade talks about him. Yeah, it would be awesome. We need another pass rusher because I don't know about Away. We lost Clowney. I don't know if Van Noy is going to have the same impact he had last year. So, I mean, we'll see what we get out of the front seven, but the Ravens are so good at developing talent there that I'm not super worried about it.
Who's going to be the worst team in the league?
Ooh. I mean, Carolina
again?
I don't know. Carolina
or New England?
To mind.
Carolina or New England?
I don't know about New England. New England's defense is good.
I think New England was picked to
have the trading block.
That's true, but Matt Judon was out the whole season last year, and they were still a pretty good defense.
Phil Belichick. But I think they're actually picked to be the last team in the league for Vegas the last time I saw, which was a few weeks ago, but that's all going to change.
I don't know if you guys have been able to watch this yet, but I'll enlighten you if you haven't. On YouTube, there's something called like Ravens Wired, and it's like their own version of Hard Knocks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you what, the rave review, because he's only 31 or 32, and the players talk about how he still seems like a player, and they relate to that real well.
Yeah,
he's running up and down. He's almost like Mike Vrabel. He's like doing sprints with the guys and stuff like that. Yeah. Obviously his career was cut short because of a neck injury, and that's very unfortunate. But he definitely seemed like he found a niche.
Yeah.
It's a really good watch. It's a good watch if you guys want to take a view.
I'll definitely check that out. I was thinking to watch that Pete Rose documentary. How is that Pete Rose documentary? Is it worth watching, Brooks?
Yeah, it's worth watching. I didn't learn too much that I didn't already know, really. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't change my opinion. I still think he should be in the Hall of Fame. So
Yeah.
he's going to keep pushing every year to try to do it. And that's basically what the whole documentary was about. So
I'm sensitive on the Pete Rose topic because I truly believe this. And I think I said it in our group chat. The best thing to happen to Pete Rose is he didn't get in the Hall of Fame because we still talk about Pete Rose every single year. And he's made money. He's made money on us talking about him every single year because he's not in the Hall of Fame.
he's monetized it great.
Yeah.
Which is good. I mean, he's the guy's been ousted from baseball for 37 years now.
Yeah.
So
And people that bitch and moan that he's not in the Hall of Fame, look, Pete Rose made a conscious decision to sign a piece of paper that said he couldn't go into the Hall of Fame. He signed a document. I'm not saying he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. I do believe he should be in the Hall of Fame. But when people bitch and moan and whine that he should be in the Hall, he signed a document. He made a conscious decision to ban himself from baseball. He has to own that.
Yeah.
He's going to get in posthumously. It's going to end up happening.
Yeah.
And that's a shame, but it's going to happen.
but the thing is, he was told it was only going to be a year ban. It's been 37 years now because the
Then I didn't know.
Is that what was written on the paper though?
I'm sure it wasn't, but I mean, the commissioner,
Or Giovanni. Yeah.
he died a week later after he signed that, after he made that agreement with him.
Okay. Didn't know that. See, this is why I got to watch the documentary. Or maybe I don't now because I know that information. Back to the topic at hand. We're talking about football. Christian McCaffrey is likely out until the regular season. He has strained his calf. This is scary because strained calves always, not always, but often lead to Achilles problems. This is a scary problem. This happened to Kevin Durant in the playoffs in 2016 or 17, whenever he tore his Achilles. He strained his calf early in the playoffs, tried to come back for the finals, tore his Achilles. These things tend to linger, especially for a guy that's explosive, a guy who relies on their explosion, like a running back like Christian McCaffrey. This is a potentially lingering injury, so I did want to mention it. Obviously, he's probably going to be suiting up in week 1, but look, we're talking about a guy who's injury prone, and this is a scary injury for him to have. And he's a huge, major part of that offense.
And he's on the Madden cover.
Oh, like really?
Don't like that. Hollywood Brown, still made of glass, dislocated his shoulder. He will miss some time. Does not require surgery.
I saw he dislocated like some kind of sternum, like somewhere in his chest.
His chest. It was like
I thought it was a shoulder.
No. That's why it was scary. He dislocated something like in his sternum.
It was like sternovascular or something.
It was a weird name. Yeah.
Shit. Well, I feel bad, but if we ever did a list of least favorite Baltimore athletes, he would be on mine. So, sorry, Hollywood Brown. I hope you're okay. I don't want anything bad to happen to you physically, but I do not like you as a player.
Sternoclavicular joint. Whatever the hell that means.
Say that 3 times.
Somewhere around your collarbone.
Probably in here somewhere. Yeah.
I want to give a shout out. I know we haven't talked about, and I'm taking a right turn from the left lane on Scottie Scheffler at the Olympics. What a phenomenal freaking moment seeing him cry. I mean, because that guy's a stoic SOB. And I mean that in a positive light. Watching him just melt when he won the gold medal was incredible.
It almost felt like validation for the season he had. You know what I mean? Because since the Masters, he's winning big tournaments, but in his major performance, I'm sure he felt was pretty lackluster after getting arrested at the PGA Championship in the middle of the second round or beginning of the second round. After struggling for the most part at the U.S. Open, I think he made the cut on the number at the U.S. Open, ended up finishing like top 40 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then the Open Championship, he never really was competing after like the first couple holes on Sunday. So yeah, I'm sure he was frustrated. I know a lot of people were saying Xander was kind of taking the mantle from him after winning the 2 majors. I think it was validation for him winning that gold medal. And I also think he's just a patriotic dude. I think the Olympic golf was amazing. I think I think it's going to be in LA in 4 years at Riviera. I think that's going to be an electric tournament. I hope they change the format and they add more team stuff to it.
Yeah, I don't mean to take away from the football topic, don't be wrong, but I think the Olympics is absolutely rock starish. Other than the triathletes having to swim in raw sewage.
Yeah.
But I thought the Olympics were absolutely electric. I thought they were fantastic. It really made me enjoy the Olympics again. Tokyo obviously had a problem because of COVID, and that is what it is. But I really enjoyed watching these Olympics, and not because the U.S. won medals. I'm not a front runner here. Just because the U.S. did well doesn't mean that I can't enjoy the. I really enjoyed watching the Olympics. It was
that's why I like the Olympics.
When the U.S. wins, as we have an American flag over your right shoulder.
Yeah,
down here in Pawnee, Indiana.
I texted a couple of my friends this, and I may have texted you guys this. Finally, Tommy Fleetwood gets something for coming in second place. God, if the silver medal was ever made for somebody, it is Tommy Fleetwood.
Man, it's a bridesmaid.
Absolutely love that guy. I absolutely love that guy. I want him to win so bad. He had this tournament in his hands, and Scottie Scheffler just ripped it out of it.
Just not in the Olympics or the Ryder Cup.
But yeah, I feel so bad for the guy. I really want him to compete really well. And he plays well in most of these tournaments. He just can't quite finish. I do want to talk about Matsuyama getting the bronze. Good showing for him. Kudos to him. I want to talk about John Rahm. Not good. Was winning this tournament on the front nine by 4 strokes and didn't even medal. Wow. Real bad meltdown. I think he was 5 over on the back nine after being 5 under on the front nine on Sunday. Still shot even par, I believe. But yeah, really rough end to his season, which has already been pretty rough. And then Schauffele, who was the best golfer in the world coming into this, other than Scheffler, was in first place going into Sunday, tied for first place. And I think he shot 2 over. Didn't really compete at all on Sunday, finishing T9, which is the most Xander Schauffele thing ever to do until this year. So yeah, a lot of weird stuff in the Olympic golf. But talking about the Olympics as a whole, I echo what Brian said. I think they were great. I watched a lot more track and field than I ever have in the past since Usain Bolt. I watched my That's a Shame was the Olympic pole vaulter who had an unfortunate incident with his manhood.
His credentials hit the bar.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen the video, guys, but this guy has 100% cleared the bar with everything except for his Don Johnson.
Well, he still got gold, didn't he? Didn't he still win gold?
No.
Or what? No.
But yeah, really unfortunate for that guy. That's a shame, man. You trained your whole life for this.
I'm glad you brought up pole vault because to go off of the Olympics and how great they were, I loved the pole vaulter who he had already won gold. He didn't even need to jump anymore.
The Australian dude, right?
And all of his competitors came out and like, go for the world record. Just go for the world record. And they set the bar up for the world record and he freaking did it. Or the Olympic record, whatever.
Yeah. No,
that was so cool.
Yeah.
The world record. So that was cool. I mean, the guy already won gold medal. He doesn't need to jump. And then all his competitors come out and I'm not calling them losers, but they didn't win. And they were like, let's go ahead and do this. Let's go. Let's try. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, the best thing I saw in the Olympics. Okay, I got 2 things. Best thing I saw in the Olympics. One, the guy from he won the 1500 and the 400. Hocker. There were 2 dudes. There was a guy named Kerr and another guy I can't pronounce his name. It's Great Britain. They were like the whole time. NBC or Peacock focused on these 2 guys. They were the heavy favorites with gold and silver. This guy, Hocker, from I can't remember where he's from. Maybe the United States. He wins and he chases them down from behind. It was absolutely unbelievable. Second best thing I saw in the Olympics. I watched either Taekwondo or Judo. I was doing something on my laptop, so I had the volume off. And it was team judo, team karate, basically. They ended a tie. It was, like 5 wins versus 5 wins. Their tiebreaker. This is their tiebreaker. All of a sudden, this guy in a suit comes out and he rolls out this wheel that looks like right out of The Price is Right. Like, not like a wheel that spins like this, a wheel that spins this way.
Okay.
And it has all the kilograms of all the weight classes, basically. And I swear to God, this guy just spins it. And it's like, it ends on like 125 kilograms. Those 2 fighters fight each other for who wins the gold medal. Like, how do you come up with that tiebreaker?
Game show, dude. It's literally a game show.
This guy in a suit rolls out a wheel. Like, what the hell's happening?
Was it Drew Carey?
I wasn't Drew Carey. He didn't have the long microphone.
Yeah, the long skinny mic. Yeah, that's insane.
Like, where do we come up with some of these fucking Olympic sports? Like, it's
Crazy.
nuts. Like
fucking breakdancing? Breakdancing? Go fist yourself.
Did you see there was a girl from Australia that she's like a PhD and she convinced Australia to let her go to the Olympics. She didn't know how to breakdance. Did you see? Like, go watch the routine online. It's terrible. She just convinced Australia to let her go to the Olympics.
It's because she has a
the Olympics.
PhD?
I don't know. What it was a whole article that I didn't read, but go into it if you want to look at something funny, because that actually is a real thing that happened this year. Some of the best, definitely the best Olympic basketball games I've ever watched. Some of the most entertaining basketball games I've ever watched were the last 2 games the USA men played. First against Serbia, Jokic was just doing whatever he wanted. Jokic and Bogdanovic for Serbia, and Steph Curry just put Team USA on his back. 17 threes in the final 2 games to help us win the gold. We have a lot more talent. We're a lot deeper than all of these other countries, but they play a different brand of basketball, and these games were really close, and it was really fun to watch. Most fun I've had watching basketball in a really long time.
Did Steph Curry solidify that he's a top 5, top 10, definitely top 10, but a top 5 player of all time with this performance? And I mean, it was freaking nuts. This was like, they kept saying this is the last thing left he had to prove, really, was to win a Olympic gold medal. And I said this is probably the last time he's going to be able to do it. I think he kind of solidified his legacy just with that, with those 2 performances.
Look, I don't want to talk out of turn here because I'm not we're not the biggest basketball pod ever. But I mean, look, the guy's won 4 titles. He's won multiple MVPs. He just won a gold medal, and he was the best player on the team for the last 2 games, the most important 2 games. I think
best shooter of all time.
Best shooter of all time by a mile. I mean, he passed Ray Allen and Reggie Miller when he was like in his early 30s in 3-pointers, which is crazy. Like he has set the bar, and he is, as much as LeBron has been such an influence in basketball for the last 20 years, I would say Curry has been even more influential because the youth is following Curry. LeBron, people can't pretend to be like LeBron because LeBron's 6'8" and 275 pounds, an alien. It's unattainable goal. But anybody could go out there and practice shooting. You know what I mean? Anybody could do that. So I would say he's had more of an impact on, especially the youth in basketball, than anybody in the last 20 years, since Kobe, probably.
He's changed the game. He's absolutely changed the game. Like you said, it's unattainable to do what LeBron does because of his size.
Yeah, he's one of the most athletic freaks that's ever been born. Like, crazy.
Yeah, I just think that solidified Steph's legacy, and
Absolutely.
I think that's really cool for him.
Yeah. Also solidified Kevin Durant this tournament as the greatest Olympic basketball player of all time. He's won 4 gold medals, 4 straight Olympics. They've won gold medals. He's the leading scorer in Olympic basketball history for Team USA and for every country in Olympic basketball history. He's the first Team USA player to win 4 Olympic gold medals, and he's the first male athlete to win 4 gold medals in a team sport at the Olympics. So
Rossi over Kevin Durant, but it's 1A, 1B. It's 1A, 1B.
Okay. I like it. There you go. And also the women. The women won the tournament as well. That game, looked. I thought they were going to lose the whole time. I watched pretty much the whole second half. It sucked that Caitlin Clark wasn't there. I think that kind of overshadowed the tournament, but they did win. They did pull it out. Brian's got something to say. What do you got?
I'm not sad that Caitlin Clark wasn't there, and the reason I say this, she has longevity in this game, and it's going to happen. She's going to be on the Olympic team. If she was on the Olympic team and she didn't play, all it would have been about was how she wasn't on the court. Just like a lot of the talk, I've never heard so much bullshit about people not playing in the game. Jason Tatum, and it's basically Caitlin Clark was Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum was Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted to talk about why Jason Tatum wasn't playing. Who gives a shit? They won a goddamn gold medal. All right? Shut up.
Yeah. Sucks for Tatum, dude. First team All NBA 3 years in a row, couldn't get on the floor.
It's all matchup. It's all matchup
Yeah.
based. For sure. Like Caitlin Clark is not one of the top 14 players in WNBA right now. Is she influential? Absolutely. She's very influential. But she's not one of the best players. I mean, Asia Wilson is without a doubt the best player in the WNBA right now. Diana Taurasi probably shouldn't have been on the team, but she's 40 years old and she'll punch you in the face with her nose. But anyway,
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're Tatum, the two forwards in front of you are LeBron and Durant. They're two of the best 20 players in the history of basketball. LeBron, one of the best couple players in the history of basketball. So, I mean, you're going to find trouble. You're going to have trouble finding the court when those two guys are on the team in front of you. So, you know,
and that's something you got to bring up. It's like, okay, if you bring someone on, who are you taking off? You're not taking Durant and LeBron off.
no,
I mean,
absolutely not.
There were times where, even Durant was on the bench, and he's the Slim Reaper. I mean, he kills it. He's one of the best players of all time.
Yeah.
I'm not going into rankings. I'm not doing this LeBron, Michael bullshit.
Yeah.
But it just, I hate that people need to bitch and moan about something. We won a gold medal, and we looked very convincing going in.
Yeah. And the games were fantastic.
Yes, that game against Serbia was, I've never been more into a basketball game in my life, other than Maryland basketball.
Yeah. Maryland Duke game. Other than that, that was as excited as I've been watching a basketball game. Yeah, overall thoughts on the Olympics pretty good. Really had a fun time watching the Olympics. Glad it's over, so I don't have to keep putting it on at the bar for everyone, so we don't have to watch ping pong anymore. But it was fun.
I want to ask one question about the Olympics before we move on to the candy bars.
What do we got?
It's very early. It's 4 years away. Who should light the torch in LA?
Snoop Dogg should light the torch forever.
Ice Cube. I don't know.
LA. Does it have to be an LA person?
No.
Max Homa.
Max Homa. Stab you in the heart. All right, let's go to candy bars.
Did you have a thought? Okay. Well, before we go to
it'll be fucking Caitlin Clark. Let's make it Caitlin Clark and Jason Tatum. They can lay it together. You fucking plots. All right, here we go.
Before we get on to our snake draft, I do want to promote. We're going to be doing an NFL only show. It's going to be a supplemental podcast. It won't be our main show for the week. At some point in the next couple of weeks, we're going to do an NFL only show. We're going to go through all of the win totals for every team in the league. We're going to pick over and under. Each of us are going to give our choices. We're going to have a little competition. If you guys have any ideas on what this competition would bet, what kind of bet we should make, please let us know, because we've been racking our brains for it. But we're going to just basically do an NFL preview show, just like we did for baseball. We'll do the over under win totals. We'll pick teams to win each division. We'll pick guys who we think are going to win awards, fantasy sleepers, Super Bowl picks, that kind of stuff. So look out for that in the next couple of weeks. And now we'll transition to our snake draft, which is best candy bars. And we have determined that Reese's Cups are candy bars for this particular exercise, although Brian is vehemently against it. He has been outweighed 2 to 1 on this podcast. I
thought you were going to say 2 to 3. 2 to 3.
I almost said
2 out of 3.
2 out of 3.
In our resident candy bar guy said that they do classify Reese's peanut butter cups as a candy bar. So
there you go. We have a candy bar guy. Some of you might have a candy bar guy. Some of you might not, but we have. So
I'm building a candy bar.
eat my fair share.
I've been slacking on the graphics, so we don't know who won last week. I think whenever I slack on the graphics, Brian should be able to just go first because he never gets.
Good deal. I'm going.
But Dustin will.
I will make a graphic.
We will put those graphics out so we can actually get a vote on them here in the future.
I will make those graphics. I'll probably do it today. We won't put them out all at the same time, just so we don't bombard you. But we will get them out eventually.
Yeah. I know it's not. I know it's not the most popular pick, but it's my favorite candy bar. It is the Reese's Fast Break.
That's number one
for me.
Yeah, be fucking kidding me. Yeah, give me peanut butter cups.
Okay. Brooks is going with Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, number 2 overall, which I don't blame him. I probably would have done the same thing, even though they're not my personal favorite. My personal favorite candy bar, it's the only candy bar with a cookie crunch. It is the Twix. And number 2, wow. We're going quick. Hold on. Sorry, I got back-to-back picks here, and I got to get my thing out. I'm going to go Snickers. Twix and Snickers in the first round is... I'm happy.
Good call with that. Good call.
Beautiful. Give me Kit Kat.
Yeah, that's a powerhouse. That's a powerhouse candy bar.
Yeah. I'm going Milky Way.
Okay.
And I'm going whatchamacallit.
Wow, whatchamacallit. Can't say I've ever had one of those, but I do know what it is. I don't know how to spell it.
Just try it. Try your best. Give me Butterfinger.
Yeah, I knew he was going there. I can't believe he didn't go there earlier.
I was between that and Kit Kat. I was hoping Butterfinger was still following me.
Did we lose Brian?
Jesus, Brian. I'm sitting here on a park. I'm sitting here on a park bench.
He's so good with technology. While Brian is figuring that stuff out, I get 2 in a row here. Man, Butterfinger was there for me, and I let it get by. I'm gonna go with Nestle Crunch Bar. I've loved those my whole life, so I'm gonna go with that. Nestle's Crunch Bar, and then I'll get 3 Musketeers.
Okay.
Haven't had one in forever, but used to love them as a kid. So.
All right. On the way back, I'm gonna go ahead and take. Give me a Payday.
All right, Payday, which is just essentially a big log of peanuts.
Told you, what big peanut? Big peanut butter and jelly. Peanut butter and anything.
Brian, I don't know if you have the updated stuff here, but Brooks took Butterfinger. I took the Nestle's Crunch Bar and the 3 Musketeers, and Brooks took the Payday on the way back. So you've got 2 picks to finish it off.
Gotcha. Yeah, sorry about that, boys. Dog knocked the plug out of the wall.
It's always the dog's fault.
Always the dog. I'm going the $100,000.
The $100,000 bar.
And I get one more to finish it off.
Yes, you do.
I'm going Caramello.
I don't think I've ever had one of those.
What happened to Sub-Zero?
Scorpion killed him.
Get over here.
Fair.
Love it.
I'm between 2 of these sons of bitches. Give me the classic, just the Hershey's milk chocolate bar.
Yeah, it's not a bad.
Keep it simple.
Somebody had to take just a regular chocolate bar, I think. Okay, so I'm between Baby Ruth and another.
Baby Ruth?
I think I'm going to take Mr. Good Bar. I love Mr. Good Bars. I haven't had one in so long.
That's literally what I was between, Dustin. I was between Hershey's and Mr. Good Bar, and I'm like, all right, someone's got to take a Hershey's chocolate bar.
I hate both of you.
What? You don't like Mr. Good Bars?
I don't know. Get out of here, man.
No,
I'll take a Henry bar all day.
I'm taking a Carmelo bar, which I've never even fucking heard of.
It's got caramel in it, and it's delicious.
You don't say. Couldn't tell from the name.
Brian is 1,000% coming in last because I've never had 3 of his candy bars. He's got a Reese's Fast Break, Milky Way, whatchamacallit, 100 grand, and a Caramello. Brooks has Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, Kit Kats, Butterfingers. That's a hot start. Paydays and Hershey's Milk Chocolate Bar. That's great. Great team there. And I have Twix, Snickers, Nestle's Crunch Bar, Three Musketeers, and Mr. Good Bar.
You're winning. You're going to win this one.
I think either me or Brooks will win. I think there's going to be a lot of love. Reese's.
I like my guys.
Yeah.
Honorable mentions. I want to go to the Score Bar, the Crunch Bar, the Crackle.
Dustin took the Crunch Bar.
I took.
My bad.
Crackle's just a knockoff Crunch Bar.
Yeah. Any other ones, Brian? You got?
No, that's all I really have for honorable mentions for me.
Okay.
Yeah. The only other ones I had written down were Heath Bar and Take 5.
He took Take 5.
No, nobody took Take 5.
Oh shit.
He took Fast Break.
Fast Break. Sorry. Yeah. My bad.
Try whatchamacallit's killer.
I've heard they're great, but I've never had one of those either. My only one that I would say as like a shout out would be just the Oreo Hershey's candy bar.
Oh, the one that's like white chocolate with
cookies and cream.
Cookies and cream. Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah, that's the only one.
I'm glad no one took Almond Joy. So
no Mounds, no Almond Joy. That's good.
I don't like that.
Dave, I hate coconut. I got bastardized as a kid, not because I think coconut's terrible. But my Delaware Dave one time, we always get candy and I always eat it. Del one time brought in the mini Almond Joys, and I go, "Why'd you get those?" He goes, "I know you won't fucking touch them."
Yeah, I don't mind coconut either, but those two candy bars, I can't. For whatever reason, they're just not my favorite.
Yeah, I don't like the fake coconut. It's like, I'm not gonna turn down like a coconut shrimp or something like that, but it's not my favorite thing.
It's funny you bring that up because there is a red devil upstairs right now who's eaten coconut shrimp the last 4 days in a row from 4 different establishments.
And
doing a ranking?
We need to get a ranking from her. Well, maybe we probably shouldn't call out all the bars and can't.
Yeah, actually, one of our regulars always brings in candies for the bartenders in the morning because they all have kids and stuff. And they brought in a big thing of Whoppers, and I must have had 50 Whoppers last night. They were so
I haven't had a Whopper.
Dude, they're so good.
Milk Duds. Oh, now you got me thinking movie candy.
We'll do movie candy at some point. Yeah, we'll get the Snow Caps and Mike and Ike's and all that stuff. I'm gonna make this graphic, and I'm gonna go back and make the other graphics. I should be able to get that done by the time I go to work tonight. So,
good.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to shout out while we're still live, or anything else you guys want to talk about?
No, it's good seeing you guys again. I'm glad you guys had fun at the Windmowing Open. It's always a pleasure to be with you guys. Go O's tonight. Looking forward to the game. And I don't even know who's pitching. Yeah, who's pitching tonight?
Who is pitching tonight?
I think it's Rogers.
Rogers.
All right,
Rogers tonight. Kramer tomorrow.
I got 2 shout outs. The Chaucer in the Pig and Rooster, as always, as being some of our resident sponsors. I didn't get to throw in my that's a shame this week, but my 2 that's a shame. You know what? I'll keep it to 1 because Dustin and I don't need to relive what we were cussing up a storm during the Orioles games about some things. But my that's a shame is fucking traveling on an airplane right now because my last 2 weeks have been a fucking nightmare. So obviously I came out.
You get fucked over again?
Yeah.
Going back. Oh.
No, not going home. Well, not going home. I drove home. So I guess long story short, I don't think I ever talked about this. Maybe we did. I don't know. It was kind of a blur the whole time I was in Baltimore for our Ryan Ripken stream, but flew out, was supposed to get in about 10 o'clock that night, and then do all the Ryan Ripken show stuff that whole day the next day. Didn't get until 4 a.m. Into a bed until 4 a.m. And then obviously full day that day. and then full day the next day. Missed my flight on the way back. Had to book another one for the same day.
Why'd you miss your flight, sir?
Well, between being purely exhausted and our friend Drew Burton feed me about 5 shots when I first saw him in about 30 minutes. That's probably helped it as well. And then so came back out. I flew home on a Thursday. Was supposed to fly to Salisbury, Ocean City on Sunday. That flight gets fucking canceled. We end up driving 12 hours from Indiana here down to Ocean City. So all through the entire night, stayed up the whole next day. And then, had to drive my ass back home on Saturday, another 12 hours back with a toddler.
Yeah.
So my life has been kind of nightmarish in terms of travel, but we're through it. And our next travel is going to be super fun for Foy's bachelor party down in the Outer Banks.
Yep.
I think we're going to try to set something up and do a podcast from down there because I think that would be super fun with some of the boys that are going to be down there.
It's going to be awesome. We need to do one. It's going to be freaking fantastic.
So we might even do a couple. Maybe we'll do a live stream watching the game. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. So the night we get down there is the first game of the NFL season, which is Ravens Chiefs, which is Thursday night. I think either Friday or Saturday we'll have to do a reaction show to that. At the very least, we'll get that out to you guys, and then we'll figure out. We might have more stuff on the way.
I think we do it in the hot tub where we're just shirtless and we just got our arms around each other. And
I'm in.
All day.
I'm in.
Brooks is
had me
tech. Brooks is a big tech guy. So
you had me at shirtless. But I think either that, or like we're definitely going to have a podcast while we're down there. We might have 2. We might have a live. We might have a live watch along. We'll see. We'll see what the vibes are when we get down to how tired everybody is. So we'll definitely at least get one or 2 out to you.
Yeah. Like I said, in some point in the next week or 2, we're going to be doing an NFL only show. That'll be our NFL preview show. So if you're here, you want to hear our takes on the Ravens and all the other teams in the NFL, look out for that show. And we'll continue to do our show weekly. I know we missed last week. It was the first week we'd missed since we started this podcast, I believe, in January.
Yeah, I think so.
So we had a good run. We had a good run where we did at least one show every week. Sorry we missed you last week, but we'll be on as consistently as we can throughout the end of the Orioles season and starting the Ravens season and getting into college football and everything coming up. So
cool. Brooksby, when we go, but see, boys, Brooksby, go off live. I want to chat with you.